Welcome to Sunday streaming for the week of July 30th. I hope everybody out there is doing well. I just muted this, so make sure that I don't echo, I hope. I hope everybody is doing well. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Orlando, Florida. At least I think it is. Yeah, it's okay. It's an okay Sunday morning here in Orlando, Florida. With me, as always, ladies and gentlemen, is your Silver Fox and the best damn co-host a man can ask for, Jess Bragg.
Thank you. Hey-o, what's
Hey.
happening?
Good, man. How's everything?
So far, so good. I woke up, and that makes it a good morning.
Hey, that's good. That's true. That's true. You
Yeah,
got to wake up. You got another breath in you.
I got up on the right side of the roses, as the Irish say.
Mm-hmm. It's always good looking at it like that. How is the YouTube channel, man? You've been busy. You've been real busy with your stuff.
I have been. I feel like I go in bursts. I don't do anything for 4 days, and then I just, I'm bulimic. I just throw up a bunch of videos, like 4 videos, and then I don't do anything for 4 days. So yeah, I need to do a review today. I did collection videos and uh, unboxing videos, so it's time for me to do a root beer review.
Oh, you're feeling it. You're feeling the
I
root
am
beer.
feeling it. I am.
Oh man.
I'm
What
feeling the
book?
root beer getting dumped on a certain book is what I'm feeling, and I may just do it. I may do
Don't
it.
don't ruin which book, but you're feeling the root beer. Somebody's getting dumped this week.
Yeah, I'm not into it. The more I think about it, the angrier I'm getting, as a matter of fact. Inside, I'm like the Hulk. I'm always angry.
And for those of you that don't know, Jess's channel is OmniDog's Vault. And if he does not like a book, he dumps bad root beer on it. And apparently, I know which book it is. Some book this week is going to get the root beer treatment.
Yeah, and it's kind of heartbreaking. It's a very nicely presented book, but the contents blow. Blow.
um, what cheap root beer are you going with this week, man? What are you feeling? What are you feeling in your stomach that you're going to
You know,
use?
I tasted IBC last week, and I didn't like the aftertaste. It was uh, very chemical aftertaste. So I may be sacrificing it to the root beer and Omni gods this week.
All right. So be on the lookout for that, Jess. You should be putting that out. Would you say today? Today, tomorrow?
Probably tonight. Yeah, I need to. I need to. I also just downloaded Uncharted for me to play with my daughter, which you recommended highly.
Oh, they're so
Uh,
great.
that might get in the way of my reading, but she comes first, and when she wants to play a game, I'm like, okay.
And of
So
course,
today or tomorrow.
hmm?
Today
And
or
of
tomorrow, I'll be
course,
putting that review up.
definitely, man. I'm super excited for it. You always do great on
Thank
your
you.
reviews, and you've been
Thank
drawing
you.
a lot of attention to your channel. You're over halfway to 1,000 already.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate your input too. You've helped me a lot.
Of course. And of course, what Sunday streaming wouldn't be complete without the chatted chat. Thanks everybody for joining us this Sunday streaming. This is the Q&A. We do this, or I do this, and usually I could have either Gabe or Jess, and I always ask them if they want to join me. And we take some questions on a weekly basis, usually on Sunday or Saturday night. Hope everybody is doing well. And yeah, check this out. Oh, one quick shout out. We have John Wilson in the chat. Guys, if you have not, please check out John Wilson's channel, The Comic Relief. You can follow that link. He's talking about it in the chat right now. Really good guy, real friend of the show. And yeah, he's also responsible for sending me a Hellboy print, so I will pimp out whatever he wants. So thanks again, John. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
You know, the way to Luis's heart is through Hellboy.
Oh, yeah. All right, Mr. Jarn Paulwells with the first question. Are the other two Blacksad stories of the same quality? I've read the first two. I have the third one, and I still haven't read it. But the first 2 volumes of Blacksad that are put out by Dark Horse are phenomenal.
I agree. I've read all 3, and I think they're awesome.
How's the third volume? I still haven't read it yet.
It's good. I mean, I can grab it right now and show you pictures of it if you want. It's within arm's reach.
I'm certain the art is phenomenal. And for those of you out
Yeah.
there that have never read Blacksad, how would you describe it? It's kind of hard
It's like a noir
put.
detective type of thing with anthropomorphic animals
Yeah.
in place of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I believe, let's see, I think it's all anthropomorphic as opposed to Granville, which has people in it too, which is always odd. Granville's another great series. I think that's put out by Dark Horse too. Yeah, it is. Granville's another anthropomorphic detective series that I like too.
Hmm.
I believe that's by Brian Talbot.
I personally like Blacksad. I know that some comic fans out there, they said when they look at Blacksad for the first time, they think, oh, it's some furry stuff with animals having sex with each other and things like that. Yeah, it's not that. It really isn't. It's a brilliant book, and the artist, I believed, worked for Disney in the animation department at one point.
Oh, I didn't
It,
know that.
yeah, it is gorgeous. The art on it is incredibly well done. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is great. The great books to read.
Next question. We tend to get this one a lot. And where was it? Do you guys think that Marvel Unlimited is worth it?
I do. I don't go to it often enough. Um, I don't go to it often enough, but yeah. See, I have a problem just going to my iPad to read. I read the newspapers on it, daily newspapers, but yeah, it's a huge, amazing value. If you like to read off of an electronic gadget and you can read enough, you can get thousands of dollars worth of reading in for whatever it is, $5.99 a month or something.
I believe it's that much, yeah.
Or it may be a little more. I don't know, but it is totally worth it. And it comes up every time too. I wish DC would do the same thing.
I'm
They,
surprised they haven't jumped on it yet.
I think Matthew Sibley said they don't do it because they want people to pick up their trade paperbacks and they try and keep those evergreen as much as they can, is what Matthew Sibley told me.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think it's hurt Marvel's back catalog of trades, and it's a great way to pass the time if you're, especially if you're like in an airplane or an airport or traveling, uh, avoiding chores from your wife, something like that. It's perfect for that.
I personally am in agreement with you. I think that the Marvel Unlimited app is phenomenal. There are so many out of print books that are published by Marvel at this point that the Marvel Unlimited app has, like the entire Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning Cosmic Saga. You can get that on the Marvel Unlimited app, and you're paying what, $6-10 a month versus paying hundreds of dollars for omnibuses, and you'd have to pay hundreds of dollars just for Annihilation to get it secondhand. Or
Good
you could
point.
just read it on the Marvel Unlimited app. Okay, boom, 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 boom. There it is. That's all of it. You save a lot of money in the long run by going that route, which is part of the reason why I've gone mostly digital, with the exception of a few things. But it's phenomenal. I recommend it to anybody. I recommend it to anybody who's saving money. So that's the best option if you want to go with it. And if you don't mind using an iPad or a tablet or anything like that, it's a great buy.
Yeah, you're a huge proponent of it. I know that.
Oh, absolutely. I am very much pro digital. There are a lot of guys out there that aren't pro digital, that are in the collected edition community for their own various reasons and stuff like that. But there will always be a niche group of guys that they prefer hardcovers and trade paperbacks and stuff like that. But I firmly believe the future of comics in general is digital. I really do firmly believe it. And, like I said, there's going to be the niche audience no matter what. There will be people that will prefer paper-based products, but digital is the future.
I can't find a single thing to argue about in that statement.
Thank
So
you.
I won't try.
Thank you. Anybody have any thoughts on the new DC Deluxe editions? I know the Flash one came out this week, I think, right?
DC Rebirth or DC Deluxe?
Oh, I don't know. He didn't clarify that.
everything I've gotten DC Deluxe recently has been really nice. Trying to think of the last Deluxe that I got. I think it was Batman related, but I can't think of what it was. I have, darn it, I did just get some Deluxe editions recently. Well, whatever it was. Obviously, it made a big impression on me, but I've been happy with them. I've been really happy with the material that they've been outputting. So yeah, they're well put together. Binding's nice. So yeah, I like the Deluxe editions. I don't know anything about Rebirth because I think I just ordered Flash. I think it just came in yesterday, and then I'll start reading Rebirth. I've been waiting for these Rebirth Deluxe editions to get into it.
I'm excited for the Rebirth Deluxe editions. I know I said I mostly go digital, but Tom King's Batman is one that I'm picking up day
okay.
for the deluxe editions, simply because I've read part of it and I really enjoyed what I read. I really want to get the Flash Deluxe edition, but I'm out of work right now. I start next week, actually. I start working back again, teaching next week. So I'll be able to jump into a few things once I start getting paid again.
Teachers don't get paid over the summer?
We do, but we get one lump sum that carries us out throughout the entire summer. And once you start getting into the last like 1 or 2 weeks before you start getting into work, it becomes really, really tight financially.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you start really counting pennies and start going, oh, yeah, we had steak at the beginning of the summer. Well, we're having hamburger helper tonight. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's see what else we got. Have you ever bought secondhand trades to save money? I saw that some were available on Barnes & Nobles for like $5. Said to be in very good condition, but I'm not sure I can trust this. I do it all the time.
Okay, there's your answer.
Yeah, I've done it all the time. Amazon's a bit more tricky with that stuff because you've got some guys that they'll say a book is like near new or whatever it is that their grading is, like new, and then you get it and it's beaten to hell up. So Amazon's a little bit tricky with that. In stock trades, I've heard people that they get the damaged books and they're really good. They're in really good shape. Most of the time you get like a few scuffs and a few nicks and corners, but I've never seen anything where the whole thing is coming apart.
No, I got a couple of damaged books from in stock trades, and they've been. I struggled to find the damage. They were a great bargain.
Are you guys also fans of normal books? If so, what do you?
Normal books?
Normal
what
books.
What are normal books? You mean prose books?
He's talking about prose novel. I know you're a fan of Stephen King.
Yeah, I read I'm a fan of his Dark Tower series. That's really the only Stephen King I've ever read.
Oh, okay.
But I started Ready Player One 2 years ago, and that's right when comic books sort of swallowed me up. And I haven't read a prose book in 2 years because I've been reading, and now especially since I started the channel, I've been reading nothing but comic books, and been my life has been very happy reading nothing but comic books. But I used to read a lot of normal books, mostly science fiction, fantasy, fictional history type stuff. I like that kind of stuff. And did I say autobiographical? I don't like autobiographical, but I like biographs of famous people. But I like a lot of science fiction, fantasy type stuff, that stuff too. But I like a lot of history too.
Yeah. I'm very much into fantasy and sci-fi. I love fantasy and sci-fi novels.
Yeah.
I've always have since I was a kid. I was obsessed with, like most kids in my generation, I was obsessed with books like Harry Potter and things like that. That's just something that when you're coming up in the 90s and the 2000s, that's what was around. Since then, I've read Jurassic Park. I've read, a few of the classic things. Have you ever read Jurassic Park, by the way?
I haven't. I don't think I even knew it was a book. Is that a Michael Crichton book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's actually really good, but Dr. Malcolm in the book is fucking bug nuts insane.
I haven't even seen the movie. I never
What?
saw the
Whoa!
movie.
Whoa! What?
I know. I just dropped a bomb on you.
You've never seen Jurassic Park?
No, never seen it. It just didn't interest me.
Wow!
Dinosaurs just don't interest me.
Wow, man!
Except
Oh
for
my
Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl. That's a dinosaur that interests me.
How have you never? Wow, that's crazy to me. Oh my gosh! All right, it actually
I
holds up
never
pretty
saw
well.
Titanic either.
Oh well, that you don't have to watch Titanic. It's not that great.
Well, I know how the ending, so the ending's been ruined for me.
The boat sinks. We all know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you
Frickin'
sit in the
thing.
movie theater. You sit in the movie theater for 3 hours waiting for a boat to sink. It's like, just let's
Right.
drown them. Just drown them all already. Um, Jurassic Park, man. It. You know what? I watched it. I want to say 2 years ago, and it holds up pretty well. It still holds up pretty well. It's not that
Okay.
bad.
I
But then
still
again,
need to watch the Planet of the Apes movies.
yeah. But then again, I was also a kid that walked out of Saving Private Ryan with my dad, and I said, "Yeah, I didn't think it was that good."
I never saw Saving Private Ryan either.
Yeah, it's okay.
I love World War II movies.
Band of Brothers is good. Is better. If you ever seen that, the HBO
Oh
series,
yeah,
that's
right.
really.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, so we're gonna get a little controversial here, just a wee bit.
Oh, good. What?
Farhan Kapadia. I've talked about this, and I'm gonna take a more mature route than I have in the past on this. What are your thoughts? Oh man, this like a few weeks ago, this really set me off. What are your thoughts on the anti-social justice warriors in the comic book community?
Anti-social justice warriors?
Yeah. Okay. So just to kind of fill you in, especially in the YouTube comic book community, I know you tend to stay away from these things. There's seemingly been a rise of YouTube comic book channels that they hate on
Mm-hmm.
Marvel because Marvel is being really progressive lately and they are
Mm-hmm.
including more diverse characters and they are kind of expanding their universe to include those diverse characters. Some of them are proclaiming that Marvel's social justice warrior tendencies, where they lean towards more women characters and introducing more minority characters, are ruining the industry and are ruining Marvel Comics. I have gone on record as saying I think it's a bunch of bullshit. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are complaining that their white characters are getting taken away and replaced by minorities.
Wah,
As you,
wah, wah, wah.
as you can imagine, a few weeks ago, somebody asked me that, and I went off on a rant for about 10 minutes, and I cussed a lot. I'm going to be more mature about this. Okay,
That's
so
funny.
here's my 2 cents on this. And again, I'm going to repeat a little bit of what I've said. Comics have always been a representation of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Always. They have always been representative of the changing in time. Recently, especially with the rise of President Obama becoming a president and us having an African American president, a lot of changes have happened in terms of acceptance in communities, in terms of gays, in terms of blacks, and in terms of Hispanics. That isn't to say that racism has completely died, because we know that's complete BS, especially with in the past few months and how the rise of hate crimes have risen. Marvel is just changing with the times. We are becoming a more progressive society. We are becoming more accepting of gays. We are becoming more accepting of different cultures, different religions, different skin colors, skin tones. Yes, there are the different sects of people that are still out there. I like to call them the knuckle draggers, that they aren't as accepting of different beliefs, different religions, and things like that, and minorities that have come into the United States. Marvel Comics is just reflecting that. They are just trying to better reflect and better reach out to a younger generation that is coming up, because we are becoming more of a melting pot in our society. Me personally, in the past few years alone, I have new family members that are Haitian, new family members that are Irish, German, everything, like Indian, Muslim. It just it all spreads the gamut. Like in the past few years alone, simply because people have been marrying into each other and things have become more of a melting pot. To deny this and to not try and reach out to this generation of younger readers and this generation of people that are becoming more of a melting pot, I think is personally foolish. Now, the other side of the coin, I can kind of see how diversity for the sake of diversity is a bit annoying to certain people and how it can be detrimental to comics. But that is diversity for the sake of diversity. For the most part, I think Marvel has done a fantastic job of integrating characters like Miles Morales, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Riri Williams, and they've done a pretty good job of that. And for those of you that are bitching and moaning, because that's what you are doing, about Marvel Comics introducing new characters and taking away your white characters, shut the fuck up, because Thor is still around. Okay? Thor is still around. Yes, he doesn't have the hammer. I don't give a shit. Thor is still around. It's kind of annoying at this point, honestly. And then you've got jackasses. Like there's this one guy, somebody posted this in the Omnibus Facebook group where he pissed off Gail Simone. Gail Simone blocked him. And he did a 16-minute ranting video on how Gail Simone blocked him on YouTube. It is the most hilarious thing where he's like, no, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. 16 minutes of you complaining about how Gail Simone blocked you on Twitter. You're a bit mad.
He's a loser. Gail Simone is like one of the most respected people, just people in the industry, and she has got unlimited patience. So whatever that guy did to get her to block him, she has got to have been really unhappy with him. But I just want to go on record as saying, totally agree with everything you say. That was really well put. You hit all the high points. You didn't even have a or a in there. That was great what you said. And let me just attack it from a story standpoint. I am only interested in good stories. If they were shoehorning in black people, Muslims, lesbians, whatever, just for the sake of doing it, I probably wouldn't care. But they're creating stories that are interesting, like you named them, Ironheart, Riri Williams, you've got Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. You've got Kamala Khan. The DC bombshells are pretty much all lesbian. And the only thing that matters is they are good stories. I got no problem. I've been reading Tony Stark for 50 years. So I'm not going to get upset when some new version of the character Iron Man gets created and put in there, as long as it's a good story. And they are good stories. I would argue that Kamala Khan is some of the best stories that I've read recently in all of comics. And she just happens to be Muslim. I don't care. They make it really interesting. And if these stories are interesting, they're going to capture my interest and make me want to buy the books. And that's the bottom line for me. I don't care who's on a soapbox, social justice warrior, anti-social justice warrior. I just want something good to read. And it just so happens that these characters are all fresh takes on very old characters. I love the fact that Jane Foster is Thor. I thought that was a great twist. I loved it, and I thought it was amazing. And that's because it was well written and well drawn. And that is all I care about.
Fair enough. I agree. No, I agree. I think, and there are some people that they'll just complain for the sake of complaining, and they'll complain just to get an audience because they know they'll get an audience. They know they are tapping into an audience that loves to hate on things, that loves to hate on specifically Marvel. And the fact is, yes, Marvel comic sales are down. They are down in the dumps. Trade sales have been pretty steady, though. They haven't been terrible. And some people will say, well, books like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, they don't sell well, and they don't sell well either in trades. That's not the case. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is part of the Scholastic's book program, And it sells consistently well through that, which is why the book hasn't been canceled. Um, not only that, but look, I'm a minority. Believe it or not, I know I look white. I look white. I look pasty, but I'm Puerto
Not
Rican.
as pasty as me.
But I'm Puerto Rican. I have family members and cousins and relatives who their Spider-Man is Miles Morales. It's not Peter Parker. It's Miles Morales because Miles Morales looks like him. And they're young. They're kids. You know, they're like 5, 6 years old. I was with my cousin a few months ago, and I go, oh, hey, you know, what's your favorite, you know, you like Spider-Man? He goes, yeah, I love Miles Morales. I was like, oh, wow, you like Miles? Yeah, he's half Puerto Rican like me. I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. You know, it's about that. It's about reaching out to a younger audience. And I've seen this more at cons than I have ever seen this before, especially with Kamala Khan, a Muslim character. We have, here in Orlando, we have a very, very huge Indian and Muslim community. Kamala Khan at MegaCon this past year, I saw costumes of her all over the place. Everybody was dressed as her. It's about that. It's about representing different cultures and different ethnicities because we are no longer just white. And I don't mean that as an insult to you, by the way, Jess.
I wasn't paying attention. What'd you say? No, I was paying attention.
We're no longer just a white community. We're becoming more of a melting pot, and comics are just trying to better represent that as a whole.
Yep, I totally agree. Very well said.
So, just give me good stories. At the end of the day, give me a good story. And if I feel like a character was shoehorned in just to be a female or just to become a minority, then yeah, you can call it out and you can notice it. But I haven't noticed them just doing something to shoehorn it in. I think, especially with the character of Miles Morales, it's been pretty seamless.
I want to just tell Maxwell that Gail Simone's Clean Room is the best book she's ever written. You should really give it a shot. Clean Room is up to volume 3 and is freaking fantastic.
I need to read that. I really
it's especially the art in the first 2 volumes is phenomenal.
I really need to read that. I had one more thought that I wanted to touch on that before we moved on, and I'm blanking.
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh.
No, it's fine. I just had one more thought for some reason I can't remember. Diversity in comics, okay, oh, one last thing. Okay. For those that are out there that are claiming the whole anti-social justice warrior Marvel comic book, you're really not helping the industry. You're hurting it more than anything else because you are kind of detracting readers from buying books. You know, you are saying, well, Marvel just hates on whites. Marvel does, you know, they're doing books to pander for people. You're not hurting the industry. There is a way to constructive criticism, and then there's just a way to sling hate at Marvel Comics and detract people from reading them. And in the end, the comic books that you like so much, if you keep doing that, it could go away. Marvel's not doing that well. That's a fact of life. It's just not doing that well. And the industry is sustained by 2 big publishers, Marvel and DC. One of those goes away, the industry collapses.
Well, Marvel's a victim of its own self-inflicted wounds, too, with over-eventing and constant renumbering of books, too many characters thrown out there and then not following up on them, giving them a chance to succeed. So there's a lot of things Marvel's doing wrong. To affect its sales, I welcome any diversity that makes it more interesting. If they're good stories and it's a fresh take. I mean, I grew up in the whitest city in the whitest part of California, reading the whitest white bread comic books, DC Silver Age, and I am 100% WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. We ain't in control anymore. It's, you know, that's long ago that the white people were in charge. It's time to embrace diversity and embrace something different and interesting. Right. And I mean, how many whatever. it's just it's just why, you know, it's just a different world, and it's time to accept it and embrace it and just say fine, go with the flow. I just give it to me in oversized hardcovers so I can read it and enjoy it and put it on my shelf, and give me something great, and I won't bitch and complain. I love some of these things that are coming out. They're so interesting to me compared to what I grew up reading. It was a big deal when Jon Stewart was made a Green Lantern. I mean, that was a landmark issue back in 1975 or whenever that was. I can't even remember when it was now, 73, 75. But that was a big deal. And now it's nothing. And so I'm really appreciative of that.
So just as kind of a follow-up, somebody asked, why do we think Marvel Comics is floundering a little bit right now? My 2 cents. I think Marvel Comics is floundering simply because they have oversaturated the market with number ones, event fatigue, and the fact that, look, I'll be completely honest, I'm not reading that much Marvel right now. I don't think it's the diversity issue. I think it's just the stories aren't grabbing me. This is just me. The stories aren't really to my interest, and it has nothing to do with diversity. It's just I read some of the like previews and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not interesting to me. That I don't find almost any of these books interesting to the point where I want to pick up a new number 1 issue, or I want to pick up something like that. Not only that, but Marvel Comics, they don't have almost, I would argue they really don't have any superstar writers over there except for like Bendis and a few 2 or 3 other guys there. They don't have anybody like a Scott Snyder or a Jeff Johns or even a Jeff Lemire, who he just announced he's going back to DC Comics. They don't have those guys anymore.
That's an interesting point. I mean, they have to look inside themselves and see what they're doing that's scaring away that creative talent.
Mm-hmm.
How come DC can attract it? Obviously, Image can attract it, but those are you have to be willing to, in Image, since it's creator owned, you have to be willing to pony up some of your own dosh to do it, in my understanding. So what is Marvel doing wrong to chase away? I don't know the answer to this. This is just a question. What are they doing wrong to chase away their creative talent that DC's doing right, and the model that Image is using to do it? And to a certain extent, Dark Horse also, you know, coming out with the Karen Berger line.
Man, we talked about that yesterday on the news show. That is a stacked line of talent. We read some of the previews, and those books look good, dude.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, so I totally agree that Marvel's got a problem with its numbering. Totally sick of its event fatigue. Not starting out a lot of new characters and not supporting them. I mean, Mockingbird, perfect example. 8 issues is all it was given, and that was the best thing out there. Sharp and witty, just like Hawkeye. It was really creative and really fun and really funny, but in a dramatic way. It was like Hawkeye, and they gave it 8 issues. I mean, how are you supposed to gain any traction when you cut somebody off at the knees after 8 issues? That's something that's going to be forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember who told me to pick up Mockingbird, but I did, and I gave it a good review. I loved it. I may have just read about it, or maybe somebody on the page said you should read it. Maybe Matthew Sibley, now that I think about it. Mm-hmm. But that thing should have gone 25 issues. It was so interesting. Mm-hmm. You know, and they're not doing themselves any favors when they don't support the comics, when they got a good comic.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. It's definitely a mixture of a bunch of different things. It's not just one thing. A lot of people will cry foul and say diversity is what's. No, it's not diversity.
No, it's not.
It's lack. I personally think it's lack of good creators. The renumbering thing, which has just completely gotten out of hand. Like you said, the book you just mentioned, 8 issues, and it was canceled. And I'm pretty sure if you wait like a year from now, they'll probably resolicit it under a new name, same creators or something like that. Because that's what Marvel's been doing. A book will go 12 issues, they'll cancel it, resolicit it again. What are we on? Female Thor's on what? The second one?
I don't even know.
I don't know. And that's part of the problem. I don't know. I don't know what volume Female Thor is on. Because they keep re-soliciting books. I don't know what volume Kamala Khan is on. Is it still Miss Marvel? I don't know. They keep re-soliciting crap.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I just bought the oversized hardcover with Ms. Marvel 3, and to me it looks like they may have started over with it from something, because it got broken up by maybe Secret Wars, and they started out. I don't know. I'll have to go look at it. But yeah, it looks like it got chopped up and started over.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm the guy that's supposed to be reading this crap, and I don't know. I really don't. And it's frustrating me because somebody will ask me, well, where should I start with Thor? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, you can start here. Well, what about Female Thor? Start here and maybe here and maybe here?
Yeah.
Their entire line needs to be overhauled, rethought, and restructured. Because this whole redoing #1 thing, what Marvel is doing the same mistakes that happened in the 90s. They're printing out a whole bunch of #1 issues. They get a little bit of a bump from the #1s, and then their books flounder. And then, they cancel books within like 5 months. None of their books are lasting, and it's a shame. Let's move on to something else. We've talked about this a lot. Let's see. Gonna go back. Gotta go back for a little bit. Jess is white, yo.
Yo, I am white.
Shoot, I really gotta go back. No, I haven't seen Dunkirk. Gabe hated Dunkirk.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Gabe hated Dunkirk.
I'm surprised. I thought it was supposed to be good. Somebody mentioned something way back at the beginning of, if I ever read manga, what would it be? Let me see if I can find that. It was way back at the beginning.
You've read some manga.
I read Monster. I read 2 editions of Monster. Let's see. Blah 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 blah. No, I can't find it. But the answer to that question is, I think from the sound of it, from how you've described it, Luis, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood sounds like what I want to read if I ever get into manga.
You need to read Full Metal Alchemist. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the way you described it, if I ever get into it, that's what I want to read.
It is so good. It really is.
How many volumes is it? 45?
27.
Like, 27 this is why I can't get into manga. I mean, what's
but you can get
the one Riley likes. It's like in 80 volumes. Is that One Piece or something?
Yeah, One Piece. I like One Piece as well, and I've just started reading it. You can get all 27 volumes of Full Metal Alchemist for $100 on eBay.
It's not the cost that worries me. It's like, where's it going to go? I don't have room for it. I don't have room for 27 volumes of something. I mean, I know Riley keeps his in his closet. That's a good idea. I may convert a clothes closet into a manga closet. I'm sure my wife would be wildly happy about that.
It's not too bad. I have it up here. The box set isn't too big of a thing, but it's 27 volumes. It comes in a nice little box set. You can keep it, you can hide it away, and it's worth the read. Full Metal Alchemist is widely regarded as one of the better recent mangas. It's all done. You don't have to worry about having to buy anything else after it. The anime Full Metal. There's 2 animes. There was Full Metal Alchemist, and that was done in 2003. And that shied away from the manga because the manga wasn't finished at that point. And then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I think that came out, I want to say 2008, 2011. And Brotherhood sticks to the manga to a T. And it's phenomenal.
Okay, I may consider it.
20th Century Boys in Compendium. I would love 20th Century Boys in Compendium. Somebody's saying, thanks for recommending 20th Century Boys for me. You are quite welcome. I saw it up here when I was looking at question. I finally read the first volume of 20th Century Boys because of your recommendations. Thanks for the recommendation. I hope you liked it, Diego. 20th Century Boys is my favorite manga of all time. I would love to see it collected in companions. Jess, how many omnibuses do you have?
Like all of them.
No, not all of them. You don't have the X-Force 90s omnibus. Gabe has you beat there.
Yeah. That's true. Gabe does have me beat there on X-Force. I don't have the X-Force. I don't know. I have a lot. I've never counted. I don't know. That's a good question. What I guess if it's something that just says omnibus on it, if you're asking me, just Marvel alone, my Marvel shelf back here is nothing but omnibus. So DC hasn't been putting out as many omnibus as Marvel has, but DC's starting to up their game with the announcement of Gotham City Sirens this morning. I can't wait. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, it was an Amazon fish.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Yeah.
I know you were a big fan of that book.
Yeah, I love anything Harley, but that's written by Paul Dini, and it is, and the art is fantastic in that book. It is just so much fun. Mm-hmm. Such great writing and such great art. That is the perfect book to omnibize. Yeah, I'm really, especially because it hasn't been available in oversized. It's just been reprinted in standard hardcover. So I'm really looking forward to an oversized book of that.
Rule Sullivan asks, and I can actually answer this one. Will we ever get new solicitations for Transmetropolitan in absolute format or otherwise? Somebody asked, I think the editor-in-chief at Vertigo or something like that, and he said next year we're going to get the third volume of Absolute Transmetropolitan, 2018.
Okay.
I saw somebody post that on the group. Yeah, you're pretty good though at omnibuses. You don't buy every single omnibuses out there. You tend to be a little bit more pickier than some of the people in the Facebook group where if it says omnibus on it, they'll buy it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I pick just what I think I'm going to read and what I'm going to like, or if I've read it before. Yeah, I don't have the space nor the budget to buy everything. I know it may seem like I own everything, but I don't. I especially now when I'm running out of room. My wife is running out of patience. She thinks we're running out of money, so I have to be really picky on what I buy. Although this week is going to be a big week. There's at least 2 or 3 omnis that are coming out this week, plus some hardcovers. So this is going to be a bad week for me. I know Legion of Superheroes Silver Age is coming out. That's not something that would interest you, but that's stuff that I grew up on. Mm-hmm. I have to have that. Marvel Monster Bus #2 is coming out. I want to read that.
It's classic.
Yeah, there's a Black Panther hardcover coming out. I want to read that. And
is that
I forget what else. I think so. Yeah, I haven't actually looked on previews who it's by, but I'm pretty sure that's the run. And I'm sure I'll get corrected in here as to what else is coming out. Oh, Journey into Mystery, right? That's coming out too. I've been waiting all year for that.
You also you've been doing a room tour, haven't you, on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'm up to part 4.
Jess has to do 4 parts of a room tour to get everything in his room.
Then that was just the inside part. That's the back cave itself. Then I'll go out into the outer room where all my albums are and some statues and stuff, and that'll probably be it. It'll be like a 5-parter. I did that just because I think one video would be like an hour, and no one's going to sit through an hour video, I don't think, no matter how interesting it is. So I'm not going to sit through an hour to look at my own basement. So I broke it up into 10-minute segments just to keep it interesting. But yeah, I think I've got the whole inside covered now. I'll go outside and take the rest of the basement, show some statues and gigas and stuff like that.
Here's a question that I'm sure a lot of fans will enjoy you answering.
Me?
What's your favorite series of all time, Jess?
Oh, wow.
That's hard. You've read a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I think the book, well, I'll tell you what my favorite story is of all time. Well, my favorite series. Two stories come to mind that I love the artistry and the writing in is Justice, Absolute Justice. I like even more than Absolute Kingdom Come. I know some people will be shocked at that. And then we were talking about it yesterday. My favorite Batman story ever was the Flashpoint Batman story that had Thomas Wayne as Batman. That's my favorite Batman story ever. My favorite Superman story ever is Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. Let's see. My favorite Green Lantern story is also by Alan Moore, was the Mogo story. That's my favorite Green Lantern story. I loved Silver Age Flash for the Infantino art. I currently love Harley Quinn, of course, because I love just what a goofy clown she is. I love Astro City. That's one of my favorite superhero comics. You can tell I'm leaning hard on DC.
Yeah.
Because that's what I grew up on. I love the Inhumans. I love Thor. I love Jason Aaron's Thor and Lady Thor. I haven't read any of Remender's Hickvengers yet, which I got to do. I love Superior Pose of Spider-Man. I love that book. I love Deadpool. I love Sandman. I guess probably Sandman. That would have to be that or Hellblazer. I thought Hellblazer was 300 issues of really strong comics. So Sandman, but I like a lot of Marvel stuff too. I love Punisher. I loved Ghost Rider. I loved Immortal Iron Fist by Brubaker and Fraction and Aha. I loved Hawkeye. I loved the Ultimates. Astonishing X-Men I loved. New X-Men I loved. Uncanny X-Force I really loved. That's one of the best Deadpools ever. Oh, wrong. Everything into the garbage. Irredeemable.
You forgot Irredeemable. I was waiting for
it.
My
eyes finally went to it.
You're the reason.
Push everything overboard.
You're the reason.
Push everything overboard.
You're the reason Mark Waid was able to afford his above ground pool. Come on, man.
Above ground pool. Yeah, my eyes finally caught it. Wing. That's my favorite. Sorry, erase everything else I said. That's my favorite. With my favorite ending ever. I was just enraptured by that whole book. A long answer to that question.
I'm waiting for it. I'm sitting here going, when is he getting to it? It's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, geez. I don't even know my own favorite story.
Oh man. Okay, Carla the Strange asks, guys, what was your favorite read this month? I'm gonna say I just started reading One Piece, and I am head over heels in love with it.
My favorite read this month. So that's current stuff?
Yeah. What did you read this month? What was your favorite thing that you read this month?
Okay, July. What did I read this July? Well, I'm reading Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur right now, and I'm really into it. I really like it a lot. So I would say, I'm trying to think. I have a huge stack of stuff that I read this month. But I'm going to say Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. That's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that. Anytime you have a fun dinosaur as a pet, I mean, that's a cool story to me.
Moon Girl.
Yeah, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. That's been my favorite so far this month. Of course, that's the latest thing I've read too, so it could have been something else at the beginning of the month.
This one's a good one for you. What is your dream statue, character, and action?
Oh, it's actually coming out. I'm getting it. I will show you. It is the recreation of this cover And this cover is what made me fall in love with Bombshells. Let's see if you can you see the Harley Quinn
Yeah.
cover?
Mm-hmm.
They're recreating that in statue form, along with her standing on the bomb and going down like it's released from the plane. So that's the one that got me started on all these Bombshells. I love the Bombshell line from the covers originally. So that's my dream statue, and it's being made, and I could not be happier. I'm getting one for Fariha too, the latest admin on the page, because I can get them for 20% off at my comic book store. So I got her one.
Those are nice. Those are very. I've seen it, and those are gorgeous. Is that the one that's going to get you in trouble come December?
No, that one's actually relatively cheap. That was only 150 bucks. I think I have a bunch of sideshow statues coming in. Oh my God. I'm going to have to use the Han protocol on at least one of them.
I love the John.
I think I've got 4 statues. I do. I have 4 statues coming in. There's no way my wife's going to put up with this. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I've got Jane Foster Thor. I've got Wonder Woman, the old Wonder Woman that they're redoing with her having the spear off her back. Then I've got Black Canary, and then I've got the best one ever is Zatanna. She is so amazing. I've got 4. Yeah, I'm fucked. I'm totally fucked. I just had such a great spring, and I said, haha, too bad for future Jess, and now it's going to start coming true because they're going to start rolling in here in the 4th quarter, and future Jess is screwed. I'm going to have to hide them somehow for a while.
What month is your birthday?
March.
Oh, you can't even use that.
No, I may go for Christmas. I may say I'd like just the statue for Christmas, and that's it. That'll help me with one. I'll save one for my birthday. Then I'll use Han Protocol next summer on one. So these are going into storage. I may bring out one and just say, yeah, I got one, but these other ones may need to go into storage.
We talked Harry Kirkman Dwan. We talked about that last week. I'm pretty sure it was either last week or recently about what our thoughts are on the Walking Dead series. If it wasn't last week, it was on Thursday. We spoke about that in great detail.
Oh yeah, you're the one with the experience in that. I haven't read it, but you have a lot of experience in it.
That was last Sunday, I believe, that we talked about that, right? Or the last time we did a live stream?
I think you and I talked about it off air because I was complaining about a certain Kirkman book, and you were touting how great the first 60 issues were of Walking Dead.
No,
50 or 60.
No, it wasn't off air because I remember Clark, the Clark NATO. He was asking me, like, why did I drop off Invincible?
Oh. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so it was on air. Yeah, you said. Yeah, you did say there was something that happened in Invincible that made you drop it. I haven't got there yet, so if you're going to spoil it, I need to take off my headphones.
Yeah, no, never mind. It was Gabe. Gabe corrected it. Gabe is like the the keeper of the Omni Bros. He knows more about the shows than I do. He says it was a total anti-Kirkman rant on the Omni Bros. So go check out Thursday's Omni Bros Live, where I go on probably like a 10-minute rant against Kirkman.
I must have fed that fire because I'm pretty sure I started it. I fueled it.
I think you did.
I think I put a quarter in that one.
Gabe's the watcher.
Yes.
Okay, here's one that's good for you. Maxwell Unasak. Speaking of Zatanna, recommend any good Zatanna stories?
Yeah, I will right now.
Mm-hmm. Zatanna's your girl, man.
Yeah, I love Zatanna. They put out they just reprinted the Paul Dini Zatanna stories. Shades of the Past and Mistress of Magic were both out of print, and they reprinted those both into one volume called like Paul Dini's Zatanna or something like that. That would be awesome to get. And also Black Carrie and Zatanna Bloodspell. That's by Dini. That's pretty good too. Another Zatanna book that's out of print but not hard to find is Everyday Magic. That's by Paul Dini. You know, that might be included in the Zatanna, since those are all by Paul Dini, those might be included in the Zatanna reprint book. Let me go on Amazon and see really quick, because those are excellent Zatanna stories. Those are like the Zatanna stories to have. They make her so interesting and compelling. They're really good. So let me see. Zatanna, not Zantac. Oh, well, that's because I put 3 N's in it. Zatanna. Zatanna by Paul Dini. Yeah, collects Zatanna 1 through 16 and Zatanna Everyday Magic. You can probably get it on IST for cheap or Amazon for cheap, but it is really, really good. It is perfect.
Yeah. I've never really read Zatanna, so I can't be too much of help here, but I've heard everything that Jess has recommended, and I've heard it's great.
Yeah, they show her as she's kind of it's a little bit raunchy even. They show her like getting down and dirty and really whooping it up as the Las Vegas showgirl kind of thing. It's really grounded, sort of like what she would be like if she was really walking around in fishnets and doing magic on the Las Vegas stage. What would her life be like? And she's sleeping around a little bit and going on adventures and things. And it's really well done.
Astro Boy Compendium, is it worth getting? I've never read Astro Boy, but I've heard it's Astro Boy is basically the predecessor of almost every single manga book that's out today. Astro Boy, if you were looking for a more modern day take on Astro Boy, you need to, and this is required reading, manga fan or not, need to read Urasawa's Pluto. It's incredible. It's 9 volumes long, and it is one of the greatest things I've ever read. It's phenomenal. I love Pluto. It's kind of an alternate take on Astro Boy. It's a pretty dark story, but it's brilliant stuff.
I know nothing about Astro Boy.
I don't either. I've never read Astro Boy, but I love Pluto. And Pluto is Pluto. It was inspired directly by an Astro Boy story, and I can't remember the name of the Astro Boy story off the top of my head for some reason right now. But it's brilliant. It's phenomenal, and like I've said, it's one of the greatest manga stories that I've ever read. And it's short. It's only 9 volumes long, and you get a hell of a great story. Everyone has to read Naoki Urasawa, period. I agree. Everybody should read Naoki Urasawa.
Okay.
Let's see. Speaking of where else? Somebody said the divorce is coming, Jess. That's terrible. Don't say that.
Well, that's what I call my collection videos, my haul videos. First one is Don't Tell My Wife. The second one is Divorce Court episode. And then the third one is Alimony. So it's like story arcs in comic books. Every one of mine is has got a title. So the hauls, I save up like a month's worth, 6 weeks worth of hauls and just show everything. And everybody goes, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Or as they will be known in Divorce Court, Exhibit A, Exhibit
exactly. B. Your Honor, he went on the internet and showed this stuff on YouTube. Need I say more?
Is Lone Wolf and Cub on your radar? I've never read it.
I never read it either. I got sent it from Mel and Anita Schumann as a get well gift when I had my knees replaced, and I just haven't got to it yet. I need to read it. because it is considered a classic.
Gabe is asking if we're going to be on a little bit longer. We're probably going to be on for like about another 10 minutes because I have to do some things. So we won't be on too long, man. Stephen King is a rock star writer. Yes, he was. Do you know Stephen King? Okay, fun fact. Do you know Stephen King doesn't remember writing Cujo?
He doesn't remember writing it?
He was so hopped up on drugs, he doesn't remember writing Cujo.
What drugs?
He was a big druggie in the 80s, man.
I didn't know that. Like, do you know what kind of drugs?
I don't know.
Blow or something, or
I don't know what he was on, but he does not. To this day, he does not. He knows he wrote it, but he doesn't remember writing Cujo.
Wow, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
I want to get a little corgi puppy and call it Cujo.
Yeah, he was so hopped up on whatever he was on, he does not remember writing a book.
Wow. And it was still a bestseller. That's amazing.
Any thoughts on Gantz? Haven't read Gantz. What are our thoughts of the Vertigo news that came out of Comic-Con 2017? They're making a new Invisibles and Sandman series. Oh, I completely forgot about that. We didn't cover that yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. A new Sandman. I forgot. I read about that.
Is Gaiman coming back writing it? That's my next question. And Invisibles, is Morrison coming back writing it? I'm assuming that's what's going to happen because I can't imagine that they're going to let anybody else touch those books. I mean, I'm not crazy about it, but, I personally feel like leave the classics alone. But if, they want to come back and if they want to come back and they want to try something, whatever. It's their book. They can try it if they've got good ideas.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not drawn to those unless they're by the original authors.
Kevin De La Roca says, apparently King was hallucinating with some dog while he was writing it.
He was hallucinating with a dog?
Yeah, while he was writing Cujo.
Where did you read this?
I forgot. No, I heard it. I either heard it on a podcast or I read it the other day in a news article or something.
Oh my God, I got to Google that as soon as we're done. That's amazing.
Clark Nato says, King was an alcoholic and on the booger sugar.
Oh, the booger sugar. Yeah, I used to love booger sugar back in the day.
Oh, man. No one can write Sandman besides Gaiman. I actually agree with that. Nobody should touch Sandman. No one should touch Sandman except for Gaiman.
I totally agree with that.
Carlo the Strange, I love messed up writers. That's a lot of fans. I mean, it's the same thing with... Yeah, obviously drugs are bad, right? We talk about that. But for a lot of writers and artists, drugs kind of give them... This is gonna come out. I'm trying to word this the right way.
I think drugs are great.
For a lot of writers and artists, drugs kind of give them kind of that clarity of mind, I guess, or kind of let them embrace a new space of creative thought that they can kind of tap into something that, God, I'm going to sound like a total weirdo, that allows them to write. There's some people that, there are some, like, okay, let's take Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix was on LSD, right? Famously, he was on LSD. I think I read that his headband was usually dipped in LSD or something like that. And because of that...
What?
Yeah.
His headband was? Man, you're full of all kinds of good urban legend stuff. I didn't know that.
I thought I've read this before, that apparently Jimi Hendrix's headband was dipped in LSD, so when he wore it and he sweat, a lot of that stuff would get in him. And that kind of allowed him to, kind of just be in the moment and just play the way that he played.
Wow, I don't know enough to argue with that. Good for him, I guess.
That's right, do drugs to get creative.
Yeah, I totally am a big drug proponent. I just can't take them. I'm all for people taking them. I just can't.
But yeah, there's something to be said for certain creators and certain writers that some of their best stuff was on when they were on, a little bit of something. Pink Floyd's.
Yeah.
You know, Pink Floyd was one of those groups as well.
I think one thing that a lot of creative people, whether they're artists or writers or musicians, have is depression.
Yeah.
And to escape that, a lot of them do drugs or alcohol, and that helps balance them out enough to write.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of creative people have a kind of a what Churchill used to call his black dog, and that is depression.
Yeah.
And then that's how they deal with it.
Carla Lestrange. At my art school, every teacher of mine is on something.
Oh, what a good art school.
Doc Ellis pitched a no-hitter on LSD. You're a baseball guy.
That is true. I remember that. Yep, for Pittsburgh.
Trent Reznor did his best work on drugs. Yes, he did. Trent Reznor did do his best work while he was in his drug state, and when he was in depression. Now Trent Reznor is doing music scores though for a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
Warren Ellis and Grant Morrison are great writers and enjoyed a lot of drugs. Well, Grant Morrison's one of those writers where he's famous for saying, "Yeah, I do drugs."
Yeah. I think that's obvious that he does it. The stuff that he writes is, I mean, Invisibles can only be understood while on drugs and with a compendium.
Yeah.
Or some kind of addendum that helps you understand it.
At the sound of Grant Morrison huffing paint, turn the page. Oh, that's great Lagavulin.
That was awesome.
Let's see. Morrison also claimed he made contact with aliens through LSD. I believe that.
I totally believe that.
Yeah. Did Gabe ever tell you the story about when he met Morrison at Morrison Con?
I think I know he met him, but I don't know if I heard the story. Well, maybe you did.
We're gonna end probably on this note, but I'm probably gonna get a little bit of the details wrong. But apparently, Gabe was trashed when he met Grant Morrison the first time, and then when he came back the next day to meet him, he met him again. He's like, "Hey, you remember?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I told you the secrets of the universe." And Gabe doesn't remember the conversation he had with Grant Morrison.
So he knows the secrets of the universe and he forgets them. Oh, Gabe.
He was drunk when he met him, so he doesn't remember him. I never knew that Grant Morrison took drugs. I thought he actively denied it. No, Morrison is famous for having taken drugs to write certain books.
If I get a divorce, I'm definitely moving next door to Gabe in Las Vegas. We're gonna hang. I'm catching up on everything.
Carla Lestrange, what was the most emotionally messed up comic you've ever read? Punisher Max the Slavers.
I think Punisher by Jason Aaron.
Have you ever read the
emotionally messed up? I haven't. I don't think so. What's it in? Is it its own book?
No.
Oh yeah, no. I haven't read that in a long time. I'm sure I read it back in the day, but I haven't read it recently.
Okay, so slight spoilers for Punisher Max the Slavers. It's if you guys want to get out now. It deals with human trafficking. Do you remember that? And in the middle of the book, there's a certain thing that happens with the baby, and at the end of the book, that a woman is looking at a child, and it's.
No, I don't remember that.
It's the hardest.
I remember. Wow, I remember the Bullseye arc in Punisher by Jason Aaron. Punisher Max. I thought that was radical. That really messed me up. The Bullseye arc in Punisher Max by Jason Aaron. That really got under my skin.
I wanted to read that. I haven't read that yet. But Punisher Max,
my goodness.
Yeah. Punisher Max the Slavers is the hardest thing I've ever read. Not because it wasn't good. It's phenomenal. But it's
the subject matter.
The subject matter is dark, dude. It's really really, really dark. And that was one of the books that gave me a whole new perspective and a whole new respect for Garth Ennis, because he does not pull any punches at all. That particular volume
No.
ends on such a downer, but it's so real and so grounded in what's going on in terms of human trafficking in our modern society today, because a lot of people don't acknowledge it. We do have kind of a human trafficking issue going on right now, especially here in Orlando near the Winter Garden area. There's a lot of shady human trafficking stuff that's going on.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, especially in the Winter Garden area. My not to get too specific, but I have a friend. Again, I'm not getting too specific. Who his sister was approached by 3 guys. His sister was in middle school at the time, and they were trying to solicit her number and trying to, find out information about her. She, for some reason, gave out her Snapchat and her Instagram. And apparently they followed her home one day, and they showed up at the house in the middle of the night. They were at her window. They found where her window was at the house, and they tried to break into the house to take her.
Holy smoke.
Yeah.
I always think of this as something in Thailand or something, but it's right here, that close?
No. Orlando, more specifically the Winter Garden and Pine Hills area, has a huge human trafficking issue.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, we get a lot of tourists, and tourists bring a lot of kids. Kids go missing, especially in theme parks.
Holy smoke.
Yeah.
Speaking of drugs, that's my pharmacy calling me.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about... But yeah, if you haven't read The Slavers by Punisher Max, it's brilliant, but it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to read. There's a page in there that I turned the page. It involves a young child, and I was sick to my stomach.
Hmm.
And, some people say and the Golden Age arc and the ending of the Golden Age arc, and that's brutal, that's vicious. But I wasn't as sick to my stomach as I was when I read just that arc of Punisher Max. I wasn't as angry as when I read that.
Hmm.
So I think you got to go, right? Because you got to pick up your medicine.
Yeah, I'm running out of battery power on my laptop too.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and end this week's Sunday streaming. Let's go ahead and talk about where they can find you, Mr. Jess Bragg.
They can find me at OmniDogs Vault on YouTube, OmniDogs Vault, or I'm also on Facebook on Riley Moore's page. The Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. Man, that is a mouthful of alphabet soup. I never get it right.
It's been a while, man, since you've messed that up. You've been pretty on top of it.
I've been on a roll with it. I just messed it up.
And guys, thank you so much for joining us this week for the Jess and I almost said the Jess and Hardcover News Show, for the Sunday streaming for the week of July 30th. Guys, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. It's found down below. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Guys, if you like what Jess and I do and you want to get more content, guys, we have literally hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of content.
Tons of stuff
that you guys have not seen under patreon.com/hardcover reviews. $5 a month gets you a whole shit ton of exclusive content, including the Jess and Hardcover Comic Book News Show. We just spent, it was probably like a good over an hour yesterday. It's going up right after I'm done here on Patreon, talking about everything that happened at San Diego Comic-Con this past week. So if you like this type of conversation, we do a separate news show just on the news in regards to comics at patreon.com/hardcover reviews for $5 a month. It's not much. It's the cost of coffee, guys. And you keep this channel alive, and you help support a brother out. And like I've said, I'm not giving out too many details. A lot of changes are coming my way in the next few months.
Oh, yeah. I want to find out about those as soon as we sign off.
Yes. Jess, you and Ryan. I told Ryan the other day because I needed to tell somebody I was so excited. Oh. And I asked my girl if I have permission to tell you, and she said yes. So we're going to talk about that off air.
Woohoo! I'm part of the elite.
So, guys, Check that out. Like I said, $5 a month, you get exclusive videos, and there's literally hours of content up there. I love you guys. Have a great week.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Bye.